Okay, so let's talk about this hand. We got aces, raise +1, big blind defense.
Double mystery. I'm guessing we're going to play this hand from Tahirpour's perspective, who has pocket aces again.
Now, I wouldn't mind a small C bet here, especially with the ace of diamonds, but he decides to check.
8-7 against the mystery hand of Hirose. Thank you on YouTube to the person who wrote in saying the pronunciation is Hirose. We are reading your YouTube and Twitch comments,
Kind of
by the
prefer
way, but we're
start to
only going
build
to
the
read
pot
the
up here.
good ones, so try not to be an idiot. 10 on the turn.
Has the 8, of course, he should be building a pot. If he's got a
There's a lot
semi-bluffing
that's
hand,
calling.
should also be bluffing.
Hirose is going to take this opportunity to bet 14,000 into 33,000.
Yeah, so usually when you check back aces, you're auto-calling any turn bet in most rivers, assuming no straightiness shows up.
River's a deuce.
Squeaky clean.
Hirose out of position. This hand will be first to act on the river. Has a 4-1 chip lead over Tahirpour at the moment, and is going to put out.
All right, so this is pretty interesting. He bets out a tiny bet. Now, typically, if you have aces here, like I said, I would have preferred building the pot on the flop, betting the flop. But when you get here, it's the donk. It's a small block bet, right? We all know what block bets are. Block bet is basically where you're betting really tiny to get a good price. You don't love your hand. You don't want him to bet big faced with the decision. So you bet tiny, hoping that he'll just call. It's kind of a amateur play that you'll see a lot of times. Now, what I will say is this is an amateur kind of donkey play to block bet small to get called and not have to face a bigger bet on the river. Now, you can use this to induce action. So let's say if you had 8-7 here, you might bet really tiny expecting pocket aces here to raise, because if I got pocket aces, I'm like, no, I'm getting more value here. He's not getting away with just only a 6K bet. If I just call, like, I'm not getting any value for my hand. So he's going to definitely want to raise here with aces. Now, he might even raise thinking that Heroes is weak. Like, he might raise even if he didn't have a hand as strong as aces, because he wants to bluff him off it, because 6K is so small, right? So he either wants to get value, or you could look at it as, hey, he's weak, I'm going to pounce all over it. Now, a lot of times, this is a common play, is people will bet really small to induce, to hopefully get your opponent to spaz out, because it looks so weak. It looks like you're just block betting. So you might do this with a hand as strong as 8-7, where you want him to raise, and he might have a busted draw. He might not have much, or he might have a hand he want to raise for value. But either way, the 6K bet looks really weak. You're kind of inducing wanting someone to raise, and that's like a standard play that works a lot of times in a cash game, is to bet small hoping for a raise. A lot of times at the lower stakes, though, you're just going to get a call. So I'm not sure I'm a big fan of this, but let's see what happens.
Out a tickler.
Tickle, yes.
A tickle of a bet, 6,000.
So he wants value.
And Tahirpour wastes no time raising.
I mean, as he should,
He wants
because
to get
when
called by a
someone
7, by a
bets the
10.
min, they're kind of saying they have a block bet, like a 7x, maybe a 10x. And you don't want to let those hands off cheaply, so the 52,000 chip raise is pretty good.
If Hirose played this hand with a super strong, if he's a super strong hand here, I'm going to be so angry this is a mystery hand. Because I want to give him credit right now for inducing a river raise if he's got 10-8.
It would be pretty epic if he was to re-raise here again, because he bet so small. And he is going to move all in.
Hirose does move all in. Tarapor in a terrible spot.
So this is what happened. Now, if I have aces here, I'm probably insta-folding against an unknown because it looks like an induced bet, right? It looks like, hey, he's trying to get you to raise so he can get more of your chips. So it just looks so strong. Like this tiny bet kind of inducing you. And then, okay, I know all about this inducing to try to get people to raise when I got a real strong hand on the river. So that must be what he's doing. So he ends up folding aces.
But this is weird because it's a very rare sight, like a unicorn.
Now, the thing is a lot of times in lower cash games, this won't work. You have to know your opponent, right? Because a lot of times someone will say, wait a minute, especially at the lower levels, they're going to turn around. And that's why you do this. They might say, bullshit. Why would he bet 6K and now he's coming over the top? I call with my ace 10. I don't buy it. So you got to know the customer. That's why you do this inducing a lot of times, because it's going to get someone to spaz out. It's going to get someone to raise. And of course, if the guy's raising and just bluffing, he's just going to fold. But he might call with, a 7, with a 10. I would think more so with a 10. But, so that makes me think if I got aces here, well, I can't be good.
I mean, this went raise calls. So is Hirose likely to be raising?
The thing is, too, is Heroes just called in the big blind. Aces raised, and he flatted. His flatting range is a lot of this 7-8, 6-7, 10-7, 9-8. This really smashes Heroes' range. So if you got aces here, you think, yes, there's a very good chance the guy has like 7-8, 10-8.
Re-raising hands like
And he
7s
folds.
and 8s.
And
Aces
look at
do
that.
lay it down. What's he?
And he bluffed him. He really wanted a cheap laydown. And then apparently he was hoping for a call, I'm guessing. And then when the guy raised, he thought, you know what? I'm going to turn my 7 into a bluff. It blocks 7-8. So, but crazy. And the thing is too, is look, he's got this big chip lead. And it really puts pressure on the guy for his tournament life. So, it ends up working here, because even if he ends up calling, he didn't lose a lot of his stack. He's a big chip bully over here. So really interesting play.
Oh my goodness, what a play.
7-5. My
That's just
goodness,
crazy.
pair of 7s.
You just don't see that very often. So I thought that was a real interesting hand. Make sure you stay tuned to check out for more hands around here throughout the World Series of Poker. But that one really was a doozy, I thought. Comment below, subscribe, all that good stuff.